Bella Binni. So this is the sticker sheet. I had already sketched out his hairstyles from the LA concerts before I realized like this could become a video and I can actually draw with you all watching and possibly turn this into a series. We'll see. So I already did the sketches for that, but I do need to... What is going on with this pencil? Are you not connected? What's going on? Okay, there we go. I still need to sketch one more, and it's the hairstyle of Jin that he had for the online concert, the one, not the one that was streamed on the day 4 of the LA one, but the one before. You know how they did Permission to Dance online before they came to LA? So in that one, he had a green ribbon. That's all I remember. So I actually have to go find the picture. So I'm going to pull up Pinterest and let's find that picture of Jin. And that's how I found that pictures of Jin on all 4 days too. I go on Pinterest. Jin PTD concert hair. Hate hair. Well, let's look for him. So there it is, that one. What did he do? He did like a ribbon with multiple and then with bangs. Okay, so I'm gonna sketch this. I watched the online concert, and then I also went to the ones in LA. I'm just gonna do 2 loops instead of 3 because that's just too much for me. And then have a ribbon coming out like this. My initial sketches are always super rough, super messy. And then I go back in there and clean it up. So yeah, I went to 3 days. I went to day 2, 3, and 4 in LA. And then I also watched this online. And then when I came back home, my friend had bought the online stream for day 4, and I had floor seats on day 4, and so I missed a lot because I am short. I am 5'2", so I feel like I missed a lot because I was just like struggling to see because of all the people in front of me and everyone had their phones out. So I asked my friend Evie if she'll come over so that I can watch the stream of it, of day 4. And sure enough, like, I didn't remember half the stuff. I also probably like mentally passed out multiple times because they're just magical in person. And I don't even know how I got through all 3 days. I have no idea, because when I bought the tickets, I wasn't thinking. I was just like trying to buy whatever I could afford. And Shamin was there with me when I was buying the tickets, and he gave me permission to just go wild and just buy whatever I want. So then when I went to day 1, it was just, I don't even know how to explain the experience. It was just so amazing, but I cried after it was over. Like, I got post-concert depression like immediately after the first show. even though I knew I was going to 2 more, I cried so much just there, like in the car when I was going back to the Airbnb. And I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna handle 2 more days of this. I know I will, because I'm not gonna give up my tickets. There was actually a point in time, I think it was for day 3, where I thought just for like a few minutes, I thought of selling my ticket because my body was so tired, so tired. And if you don't know, like I have several back issues and joint issues. So like everything was acting up just for a little bit. And so I was like, oh my God, do I need to sell my ticket? And then I talked myself out of that real quick because I was like, you flew all the way to California, like just because your body's not feeling good, you're not gonna give this up, even if I like have so much pain that I have to take like a ton of pain medicine afterwards. I was like, you're not gonna miss this once in a lifetime concert. So I better suck it up, told myself. But I took pain medicine and then I was fine. So that doesn't look good. Okay, what am I doing? It's kind of hard to draw and talk at the same time. Oh my gosh. Hold on, let me see. Okay. So you know what I'm gonna do? I am gonna just put that aside and do like an actual outline. I'm actually glad I'm showing you guys the process because it's not like all the artists on, not all of them, but just like most of the artists on Instagram and TikTok and all everywhere, they just kind of make it seem like drawing is a very unattainable hobby or thing for other people to do, and it's not. Especially like my style of art. I've actually changed my art style to reflect the type of art style that's true to me. Basically, I've just become more and more authentic to myself as I learn more about myself. I'm like learning that I can let go of my perfectionism and actually really be me. And my art style, my true art style, is messy, organic, sketchy type of art. Not the type of art that I used to do when I was the Modest Cat. The art from the Modest Cat, like it was half me. It was the other side of me, the side of me that I struggled with, because it was obviously kawaii, which is who I am, but you could see like that the lines were way more perfect and less sketchy and organic, and that was just like my perfectionism keeping me from drawing this way, the way that I really want to. Okay, so for now, this hairstyle is what I'm going to keep. I don't like all the lines inside, so I will change it up, but I just need to move on so that I can adjust it. Okay, yeah, all right, so I'm going to clear that out. And then I'm going to draw the bows. And I'm doing this one on a separate layer because I'm going to change the color of this outline later. He had a pink bow and a red one, which I think is so adorable. Like, I love that they were not matching. I wonder if they just like, he just randomly picked, I wonder if there was like an assortment of hair clips in backstage that he could choose from. So now I'm sitting here thinking like, do I want an outline of the face, or do I want to go like pure color art with no outline? I think I'm going to do an outline. So one thing I'm going to do is lasso just the buns off of this layer. This layer only has the buns and the lines inside, which is like, I don't want the lines inside. So I just lassoed that out. And then I'm going to erase this part, this line. So I work in layers when I draw. I learned that the hard way. Like in the beginning, I used to just try to draw on one canvas because I was used to drawing on paper. And then I realized like there's so much more you can do if you draw on multiple layers, because you can fix things. Like for example, now this layer has the inside, like this part of his hair, and I don't need it because it's inside the bow. I'm just going to erase that part out. And then I'm going to do another layer for his face. And I don't know what color the outline is going to be, but I'm going to worry about that later. Now it's just a time to outline, and then I will deal with changing colors later. So, should I give him ears? I mean, his hair is kind of long, but yeah, I'll do ears. Yeah, so about my art style and how it has changed. I am so happy with the art style that I have now, because this is exactly what I wanted. Basically, I wanted to give my perfectionism like a big middle finger by starting to draw imperfect. It's like my way to why did that? So it's like my way to show perfectionism, that it's not the boss of me anymore. Like, I really had a lot of issues with perfectionism. It kept me back from doing so many things. It kept me from doing YouTube videos for 2 years, 2020 and 2021. It has kept me from trying new things. It kept me from just working. Like, it got to a point where I was just not even doing anything, creating anything, because it was like, well, it's not going to be perfect. So what's the point? What's the point of even trying? That's how I was. It was just taking over completely. And I didn't realize that that's what the issue was, that it was my perfectionism, until we started addressing it in therapy. I just thought like, maybe I was lazy, that's why I'm procrastinating, and maybe I'm not motivated, and I thought it was all sorts of things, and I didn't connect it to perfectionism. Yeah, so now I love my hairstyle, my art style so much, because it's just so sketchy and natural. It just feels natural to me. Like, it's exactly who I am. So this is how I've always wanted to draw, but I was always too afraid that people won't like it. And then I actually talked about it with my therapist, because I was having art block, and this was when I rebranded. So I told her, like, I rebranded, and yet, like, I have nothing new in my shop. I can't draw any stickers. Every time I try to go draw stuff, nothing comes out. I can't come up with any ideas, and I just sit there. And she helped me get to the bottom of it, because I didn't realize that it was perfectionism that was keeping me back. So I was talking about, like, once we figured out, like, that I actually have fear, and this whole, like, procrastinations that I was having was coming from fear. She asked me what I'm afraid of, and I couldn't figure it out for a while, and then she helped me, like, take it out of my brain. She's so good at, like, she won't tell me what to say, obviously, because she's always like, I want you to figure it out on your own. So, like, she'll ask thought-provoking questions, and then I figure it out, and I'm like, oh my god. And I have all these epiphanies. So the epiphany I had that day was that, like, I haven't posted anything online after I rebranded, or put anything up in the shop. And the reason why I was having art block was because I was afraid to show my true art style to people. This art style, this messy art style, because figured, like, they're so used to seeing the perfect line one. So if you haven't followed me from before, do I have any pictures of, let me see if I have pictures. So the Modest Cat art, like, you see how messy that is and sketchy. Oh, I love it. And textured. So the Modest Cat art was not textured at all, and it was very perfect, like this. Super cute. Completely symmetrical. Oh, why am I showing it to you this way? Sorry. Yeah, like, I made sure, like, everything was symmetrical. So this circle is exactly the same size and shape as this, and this curve is the same as this curve, for example. And then this was me, like, kind of like breaking free and being like, oh, let me just draw the flower a little imperfect, but my perfectionism used to always keep me from doing that. Like, so it was kind of like a mix. So I guess if you go through my Instagram, you'd see, like, the progression of my art. This is where I started telling people. This post was when I started telling people, like, hey, I like this kind of art, and I kind of want to do this kind of art. But yeah, so my art before was pretty symmetrical. And the line, I used to use a cartoonish line, which was, even the line itself was symmetrical on all ends, and this is not. This is a style that this is me, like, breaking through a little bit. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, so I realized, like, I was afraid to show my true art style, the messy art style, and that's why. And she was like, art is subjective. You have to remember that art is subjective. Some people are gonna hate your art, and some people are gonna love your art. And if you don't show them who you are and what kind of art you love and the kind of artist that you are, how are you gonna find the people that will love your art? How are you gonna find your people? And that just changed everything and helped me start experimenting with different textures and pencils and start showing my real art style more and more. And who knows, like, what it'll progress to. It might, like, next year, this might look too perfect to me, and it might even be messier. I might even get, like, messier and messier. Who knows? Yeah. But I appreciate everyone who has been here with me from the beginning, or anyone that has, like, started following me at any point and has just decided to support me in my journey while I keep discovering who I am and experimenting. Okay. So now I'm just cleaning up this layer that has his skin. And actually, I'm going to turn off the background to see if there's other pieces. So when you turn the background off, sometimes you can find pieces that are that need to be erased that you couldn't see when the background was white. All right. Now I'm going to color his hair. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm creating a base color for this entire block of hair. and I'll explain why in just a little bit. So I use just a regular, the cartooning brush or outline brush. I think it's called monoline. And I just colored in where the hair color is going to be. And I just chose a dark or bright color so that I can see where I need to erase. Because I go in there and I colored in pretty roughly at first, and then I use an eraser to go back and adjust the details. Okay, yeah. So now I'm going to create another layer on top of it and click clipping mask, and then use the color that I want for his hair. And so now when I color, it'll only go where that blue is. So I can be pretty rough with this part. Oh, I love this sound. If you don't know, I love ASMR. I am ASMR sensitive person. I get tingles and everything from different sounds and triggers. And I just got an idea and I really want to do it. I want to do like a drawings and journaling series maybe of just like me quiet but with ASMR. Like just the sound of me, like this sound. Oh, so nice. Anyway, so now I'm going to go back and change that blue to something closer to his hair. Maybe like gray. But you don't want it so close to the color on top because then you can't see, there we go, you can't see the texture. See that? Should I make it a little lighter? Let me see. Ooh, yeah. Okay, I like that. Yes. I might actually recolor this part because I don't like that the texture's gone there. I colored over it too much. So I'm just going to redo it. Doesn't take long. Yeah. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm sharing like all of my secrets of my art style and what brushes I use and how I draw my sticker sheets. So I hope this is helpful. Yeah, I like that way better. Okay. So now I'm gonna go back in and do those lines. Did I keep that layer? I did. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, so I'm just gonna redo it. I do like the idea of the lines. I'm just gonna redo it though. To less. I love that Jin does this for us at every concert. That he does a cute hairstyle just for us. It's so cute. He's the cutest. I love him so much. I love all of them. But this is all about Jin today. So we're just going to talk about Jin. So, fun fact. When I first became ARMY, I got like major brotherly vibes from Jin. And so, yeah, I only saw him like a brother. I was like, oh, he'd be a cool bro. And then the more I got to know him, I was like, oh, okay, he's fine. Yeah, so it took, like, he grew on me. Okay, so now I'm gonna color I'm good with the hair, I like the hair. I might actually reduce the saturation of this to see. Okay, wait. So what do I want to do? Do I want it? Because I have to decrease the saturations for colors because of my printer. And that's another thing that you have to keep in mind when you're drawing sticker sheets. Like, you have to see what it looks like after you print it with your particular printer. So, like, even though it looks like he has gray hair, when I print it, it should become darker. We'll see. Now I'm just gonna color his bows. You know what? Let's find it. There we go. Ah, adorable. So we're gonna do like a light pink. Oh, and it has dots. Oh, it's so cute. Why is he so cute? I'm very happy that I was able to get tickets for day 4 because that was Jin Day. It was his birthday. I'll never forget that experience of us having our signs that said Jin and him looking out and seeing it as a surprise and us like making him happy and making him smile and get emotional. It was amazing. I actually posted that section, that part of the concert when we had our Jin signs. I posted that on my Instagram feed, so if you're ever curious and you want to see my point of view of when we had our signs out, you can go on there and see it. So again, like, that red was too bright and I know it would print very bright, so I muted it. And then I'm going to do some dots. And then, so we had 2 projects. So we had the Jin sign, that was in the beginning when he does his intro. And then we had the moon that we put on top of our light sticks, and that was at the end. And when he saw the moon, he got really emotional. It was so adorable. Yeah, I love him so much. And he told us, like, when he saw the Jin heart, like, he was expecting something from us because it was his birthday, but he didn't know what. And then when he saw the Jin hearts, like, he tried his best not to, like, to keep it in so that he doesn't mess up his performance for the concert. So cute. And then for the moon, like, they were done performing. Well, not completely because they surprised us with Coldplay. But yeah, so then he, like, let it all go. And got it. I feel like everyone cried. I can't remember. I think everyone except Yoongi cried. But that's, like, expected of Yoongi. But when I saw RM's tears, Namjoon, I was just, that one, Namjoon, oh god, I was bawling. And Hobie. I was just a mess. I was a mess. I screamed and cried and everything. I was just doing the most at the concerts. And I feel like I don't remember half of it. Because I don't know. Does anyone else have that feeling? Like, anyone who went to the concerts from before too? Like, do you forget things? Because I feel like I blacked out. Because it was just so much. It was just too much. You know? Oh, so cute. So I blacked out. Like, my memory has blacked out. I didn't, like, physically pass out, but I feel like I've forgotten so much. And then I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to put a little shadow underneath his hair. I'm just gonna be a messy shadow. And I don't even know if this is gonna show up when I print it, but I just wanted it. Okay. Now let's get rid of the sketch. Let's see. So that's one sticker. It's so kawaii, so cute. Yeah, okay, so I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I think what I'm gonna try to do is just group all this and copy it. And hopefully that'll work. I really hope that works. I hope that cuts down on the time I spend sketching everything. Like, I hope that means I just have to adjust just a few things. Okay, so this one's just RJ. Yeah, so all I have to do is adjust this bow part. Yeah, I shouldn't have merged it, because then I had the original hair outline and I could have just pasted it over to all the stickers, but I'm gonna do it now so that I don't have to do it again for the other 5 or 4 that I have left. Okay, so this layer is the one that has the circle part. I'm just erasing. So let me know in the comments if you've went to the concerts, the PTD concerts in LA. Those were not only just, they weren't just my first BTS concerts, they were also my very first concerts in my entire life that were like an actual concert by myself. I've only been to 2 other concerts before that, and I wouldn't even consider the second one a concert. So the first concert I ever went to was an outdoor little laid back music festival thing. I wouldn't consider either one of my concerts, so I don't think the other 2 were concerts. So it was like an outdoor little music fest, and my brother took me because I was in college and he didn't know that like I wasn't allowed to go to a concert. So he took me to see John Mayer because that was just like the one that was available at that time. So I was with him supervised, so it wasn't like, and it wasn't a wild, like a real intense concert. It was just like people like laying on the grass, casually listening to him. There were no seats or anything. And then the other one that I went to definitely was not a concert. It was like a performance, really. It was for a Bollywood singer. And he's really famous. His name is Arjit Singh. And he came to Orlando. So I took my parents. And so it was me, Shamim, and my parents. And so I wouldn't consider that a concert either, because it's just like, just sit down and listen. Like, no one's like dancing or anything or screaming. There's no screaming or dancing. You're just sitting there. And so that was amazing. So this was like my first actual concert, you know, like at a stadium with all these other people who love the same people and music that I do. And we all screamed and danced together. It was just, I don't even, oh God, like I'm forgetting how to talk when I try to explain what the experience was like. Because it was my first ever concert. And it also meant, like, it meant so much. It wasn't like, hey, I get to see BTS. It was like, wow, like, look at me having freedom. Because I wasn't allowed to go to concerts before. So just like the freedom of it made me so emotional. And then I got to like dress up how I wanted. So I didn't even wear like I just wore normal clothes, but I had like little hair tinsels in my hair, purple ones, and I just felt free. And then just like if you grew up in a brown household, like a Desi household, you can relate. And I feel like it's like one of those if you know, you know kind of things. It's hard to explain it, but it's just like our parents were super strict. I mean, and for good reason. Like they have their own reasons, you know. Like they came to this country and they were very afraid that their children are gonna just lose the culture that they grew up with. I feel like my mom and dad, well, it wasn't my dad, it was my mom. I feel like my mom wouldn't have been as strict. Like, I feel like she became more strict because she moved here and she was super afraid that I was going to be, and she used to call me that, and my sister used to call me that all the time, that they used to say I'm so Americanized, and so, like, that was a bad thing. Yeah, so she was, like, super afraid that I was just not going to remember that my parents' culture and stuff. So whenever I used to ask her if I can do this and if I can do that, her answer was always, after you're married, if your husband says yes. And so when I was at the concert, I was crying because Shamim is like the most supportive, loving partner that I could have ever had or I could have ever imagined. And he didn't go to the concerts with me, but he flew to Cali with me and was like basically my driver for all of the concerts. And I just knew like when I was having a great time at the concerts, he was out there in the parking lot, like waiting, so that I don't have to wait in traffic after the concert, so I can like find him right away. So he was there supporting me all the way, and I was just bawling, just thinking of that too during the concerts. Like my whole life, I grew up hearing like, oh, like if I wanted to travel or go on any trip, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. I wasn't even allowed to go to a college away from my home, because I wasn't allowed to live on my own or live in a dorm. So just remembering hearing that like all the time, like, oh, after you're married, if your husband says yes, then you can go to a party, then you can dance if you want, then you can go to a concert or whatever. And then just being in that situation in real life, like, I was just like, holy shit, like, I'm at a concert and my husband is right there, like, right outside, like, lovingly waiting and is super happy to see me happy. It was just the best time ever. It was just such an emotional experience. What do you think of that RJ? I think he looks super cute. I don't want him to like look exactly like RJ. So I just want people to know, like get the idea. And I think you can get the idea that that's him. I am going to, no, I'm not going to pick the color. I'm going to use this. Draw some hands, arms. And then color that in. I'm also going to change his mouth up. The coloring part is my most favorite part. It's so relaxing that I actually spend a little too much time on it. I'll like erase and then recolor just because it's so much fun. Which layer has the mouth? This is why you shouldn't be lazy like me and actually label everything. I think it's a waste of time, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I had labeled. There. I think I might change the color of the cheeks. Oop! Sorry for shaking the camera. I may change the color of the cheeks, but that's like something I can adjust at the end. Okay, yeah. Sticker number 2 done. Let's move on. Should I do the same face? I'm gonna change this one to a circle because he's like, oh, I caught you, you know, because he's like the Squid Game doll. So, wait, why am I drawing? Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. That's really ugly. Looks like a moose. And then, was it red pigtails? Yeah, it was like red bows. So I'll use the same red. Oh, I forgot to outline this. Oops. The bows? I was supposed to outline it in a different color. Come on. So if you double tap with 2 fingers, it undoes. But sometimes I don't tap hard enough. Okay, so it has the ribbon sticking out. Okay. So like that. Oh. Why is he so cute? So I'm going to change the pigtails now. I should have drawn it after I drew the bows. So Jin was saying he's 30. I still don't understand the whole aging up thing in the beginning of each year. I don't get it. If anyone understands that, please let me know. Because like when you look at his year he was born, he's 29. But he says he's 30. And he's like the cutest 30-year-old man in the world. Okay, so I need to erase the pigtails off this part, off this one. And none of us know if they're getting enlisted this year yet. And we're just kind of like on pins and needles. Like if they are going to get enlisted, how many are going? You know, I don't know. Oh, I don't want to think about that stuff. Let's just try to manifest another concert because the concert experience was incredible. Okay, so that's Mr. Pigtail. And I'm going to do some lines. Okay. Oh, come on, double tap. See, sometimes it just doesn't work. I learned everything about Procreate from YouTube. YouTube University. I get questions a lot, like how do I do this? How do I do that? You can YouTube everything. But like if I don't get to your question, I hope you find the answer. I try my best to answer questions. I have to add that base color for this part of the hair. And then do the texture on top. So I'm drawing this sticker actually because I'm vending at a Jin cup sleeve event. It's actually Tae and Jin combined. And every time I vend at a cup sleeve event, I make sure that I have, not like on top of all the other stickers that I have, all the other BTS stickers and stuff, I just make sure that I have something specific for that person. At least one thing. Usually I go and do a bunch. So this is my special sticker sheet that's going to be available for the cup sleeve event, and then I'm also going to release it in my shop. It's just people who go to the events that I vend at get to get it first, because a lot of the stuff that I put out on in the vending events are things that have not even been listed on my shop yet. So if you live in the Orlando area, follow my Instagram account, and then come say hi at whatever event that I vend at. I always put an update in my stories and on my feed. Yeah, so I really wanted to do a Super Tuna thing. Like, y'all have no idea how much I love Super Tuna. Like, I love Super Tuna so much, so much. It's always like playing in my head. Always. I mean, well, now I have the Encanto soundtrack in my head. But when I'm thinking about BTS, I got Super Tuna on my mind. I just love it so much. And that was like the one live that I was able to catch while I was in LA. Because they all went live after the concerts and stuff. And the only one I was able to catch was Jin's. And luckily, like, I just woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and then he was on. And I flipped out. And so he, like, revealed the song on his V Live that day. And I was like, I don't know. Because I don't follow subtitles on Twitter. I don't even use a Twitter account. I don't have one. Yeah, so I had, like, no idea what he was dancing to. But he was feeling himself. So I was like, okay, Jin. And then I think the next day, or like a couple hours later, I don't even know, he released Super Tuna, that song. And I immediately learned the dance. Immediately. Did I show anyone? No, I did not. Are you going to be able to see it if you request it in the comments? Probably not. I don't know. We'll see. If there's like a lot of people. I don't even know. I shouldn't make any promises. I don't dance in public. Okay. All right, so then I liked that color red, so that means I just need to make the outline a darker red. Like that. A little darker. Yeah, and then the song became viral, as it should, because it's like an incredible song. And Jin was like, please stop. It was so hilarious. Like, sorry, Jin, like, if you're gonna make such an amazing, hilarious song like that, how do you expect it to not go viral? So this is the layer in the space buns that has the, oh, why did I do that? So I merged the bow outline with the lines for the hair. That's all one layer. So now I have to, like, carefully go back in there and color just the bow lines. You see how it touches the hair one? I don't even think this will come up in print, but just in case. It's not gonna take long, it only takes a second. There, just adjusted it. And then the pink one. Should I do that? Yeah. Huh, that's interesting. Why is that gray? Like, I wonder why that part is still gray. It's not on that layer. So what is that? So yeah, if you're watching this and you're not ARMY, like you're not into BTS, please just YouTube Super Tuna. It's a very short song, and it's just he's just so cute in it, and he's just talking about fishing. It's just so cute. Just please watch that. It's like the new Baby Shark amongst kids. So, yeah, please watch it. Watch it. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Oh, so cute. These are I can't even talk. These are the cutest stickers. I can't wait to put them in my planner and journal. Alright, so that was pigtails. I'm going to duplicate. I've reached the maximum amount of layers. We are struggling today. I'm on a struggle bus. Struggle bus. Next sticker is going to be the flower pot one. So which hairstyle of Jen's is your favorite from the concerts? I think mine... Oh, that is hard to pick. I think mine would be the flower pot one, because it was just so cute and unique. Like, I would have never expected a flower sticking out of his head. The RJ one was cute too, but I do expect him to include RJ somehow, because he freaking loves RJ. That's his baby. Okay. So... Alright, so now just the pot. What should I do for the face? So far I got happy, very happy, ooh, and then a flower pot. I might just, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna change the eyes up. Let's see. Sometimes when I change something, I reduce the opacity of the previous layer to kind of use as a guideline. Like, for example, like I'm changing the eyes, so I use the other layer, I just change the opacity just so I know where the eyes should be based off the other drawing, you know? Yeah, and then I am erasing this. And then bringing that back. Yeah, I feel like I really am gonna change the color of his blush, but I'll do that at the end for all of them. So I'm just gonna follow the sketch. Yeah, so I feel like I'm taking much longer with this drawing because I am talking at the same time. But let me know if you like this format. If you like the chatting while I'm drawing, or if you want me to just like put music over the whole thing instead, let me know. Yeah, I think that'll work. It just has to kind of look like a flower. People will get it. Does that look like a flower to you? Is that good enough? No. So... let's try different. I'll do 3 petals. And then some in the back. Nope, don't like it. How about if I do something like this? Yeah. Okay, that looks more like a rose. Let me increase the opacity. So, yeah, if you're Army, do you have a bias? I mean, hopefully you're OTC 7. I just I hope you're not just standing like one or two of them only and not liking the others, because you gotta like them all. But do you have a bias? And if so, who's your bias? Who's your bias wrecker? Are you double biased? I am double biased. I am Soap, J-Hope, and Yoongi. And oh, it's so hard. Like, I just remember, I could just hear Michi saying, like, you didn't explain what you're, like, saying for the people who don't follow BTS or K-pop. So, like, your bias is the person that you like the most, basically, out of a group. And that's who your bias is. And then if they say, like, if you say you're double biased, that means you have two, etc. And so I have two who they just catch my attention all the time. And then my wrecker is Namjoon. How do you explain wrecker? Wrecker is like the other person in the group that, like, gets your attention more often than, like, it gets your attention not as much as your bias, but then more than the other people in the group. Am I explaining this? Well, I'm so bad with words. So, yeah, Namjoon's my record. But then at the concerts, like, Tae kept coming for me. Tae. It was Tae. Like, obviously, like, I love them all, right? So I'm not, like, surprised that he came for me. But then I am surprised. You know what I mean? Because it just felt like it was out of nowhere. They're all gorgeous. I was gonna say he's gorgeous, but yes, they're all gorgeous. But he was something else in the concerts. He was something else. And then before that, like, online, for Sozu and the PTD online one, it was JK, like, coming for my throat. Like, JKB, he's been wilding out. He has been. JK, let's talk about JK. Oh my gosh. Wait, but this is supposed to be a Jin sticker edition. All about Jin. So I'll keep it short. JK has been... Yo, I don't even know what to say. What should I even say? Oh, I can't do a clipping mask. So I just gotta do it right on top. Okay, I got this. He's, like, rocking out, like, him and his crop top and his piercings. It's just, he has a whole different energy when he's on stage, like, lately. And you can feel it, everyone can feel it, and he will really make you get hot. Like, your temperature will rise when you see him. It's just no joke. And then, since I can't do the layers because I have the limit, I'm just gonna have to, like, do the textured part right on top. And then just erase anything that comes outside of the lines. So yeah, I still can't believe I went to the concerts. It still seems like a dream. It feels like it didn't happen. Like, it feels like the whole thing was a dream. It was so hard to get tickets, and it's just gonna keep getting harder and harder because their fan base is just growing exponentially, and, like, we want that for them. We want them. They deserve all the love in the world. So even though it sucks for us because everything gets sold out in, like, 2 seconds. I don't know if any of you have been trying to get the stuff that they made themselves on Weavers, but it's like it sells out in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Like Tay's bag was sold out in 2 seconds. Like literally I'm pretty sure. I'm not even bothering. Like I don't even go on there. Because I know, first of all, I am on a big budget this year, right? Like my goal for my finance goal is to buy experiences and services instead of things. So I'm not even trying. But for the army out there that is actually out there on you Weavers trying, I applaud you because it must be so stressful. Like, it's just, yeah, I wouldn't even try. Yeah, and it's because just their fan base is growing. But then there's also like a huge amount of scammers out there now. And I absolutely hate it. Absolutely hate it. There's just people who are buying up. They did this for the concerts too. They bought up tickets to try to resell them for thousands of dollars. Thousands. Like, and the people that were resellers were not even army. And I say this because for my floor seat, there were so many seats empty in my row. And so that means that was just resellers who bought those tickets and couldn't get anyone to buy them for $5,000 or whatever ridiculous amount they were charging. And they're not army themselves, so they didn't come to the concert and they just left that seat empty. And that could have been, someone could have really enjoyed that, you know? I don't know why I'm making this yellow. I shouldn't be making it yellow. It's just gonna be white. Yeah, so things are getting sold out. I saw my friend showed me a listing on eBay for Tay's bag, and it was someone was trying to resell it for $13,000, like 12,000 something. I'm pretty sure it was 12,900. It's definitely over 12,000. It's just like, leave us alone. So I really hope you all love this sticker sheet. By the time I post this video, it'll be after my vending event, so this sticker sheet will be in my shop and it'll be ready to ship because I'll already have it printed and cut from vending. So if you purchase it, you will get it shipped pretty quickly. My processing time is usually like 1 to 3 days. But I forgot what I wrote on the website. Usually I write something that's longer than it takes me just in case something happens that week. I don't want people, I'd rather have people like pleasantly surprised that their packages are on their way versus shooting for a shorter time and then having to email a customer and like tell them why there's been a delay instead. So now you know how long it takes for me to draw a sticker sheet. Sometimes it takes less time if I'm like really in my flow state, but usually this is how long it takes. I'm thinking that it actually takes less time because I'm talking at the same time, but actually I'm not so sure. I feel like it might actually, this is pretty much an accurate depiction of how long it takes for me to draw a sticker. It used to take 10 times longer when I was drawing stickers for the Modest Cat because I had the perfectionism issue back then. And so I would spend hours, sometimes days, on just like one sticker sheet. If it was a kit, like a sticker kit, it could take me like 3 days to 4 days, sometimes over a week to draw a sticker kit back then. Because I was so stressed out about it looking perfect in my eyes. That was another thing that I learned. Like, perfectionism is just all subjective. Like, even when I think that I did something finally in a perfect way, it might not be perfect enough for somebody else. So, like, who are you trying to impress? Let it all go. Let it all go and be messy. That's my new motto for myself. So all of my stickers in my shop are all hand-drawn by me. All of them. They're all my own artwork. And then if they're not hand-drawn, then they're hand-designed. And the only ones that are, the ones that I'm talking about are like the actual pictures of the boys, the BTS boys. But besides those, everything that is drawn or art, why will it not? I don't know. Why won't? Anyway, yeah, everything else that is like drawn is drawn by me. Like this. Just like this, on Procreate. And then we make the stickers ourselves, we cut them ourselves, print it out and cut them ourselves. It's all homemade with lots of love. Lots and lots of love. And so I really hope you like them. Comment down below if you've ever bought stickers from me, if you've bought my artwork before. I would love to know. Yeah. So yeah, let me know. I'd love to know if you've ever bought from me before. And if so, what was your favorite sticker that you bought? Oh, and I would also want to know if you're an art collector, art/sticker collector. So if you bought my stickers to like collect them, or if you bought them to use them in something. Because there's different types of customers out there. There's a lot of people who don't realize that there's a lot of other people who are just like them. Because I get this comment a lot, like, oh, your stickers are so cute that I can't even use it. And then I'm always like, that's fine, you're an art collector, that's what you are. Like, I am also that. I have stickers that I will never ever peel and use. They're just, I bought them to collect it because they're just too cute. And then there's other stickers that I buy duplicates of so that I can use it and not feel bad about using it. Yeah. Adorable. Adorable. Okay. I think that's it. I think we did them all. We did. We did it. And then there's like some gaps here. I'm not going to make the design. I'm going to draw some stuff, but I'm not going to make it into stickers because they'd be too small to cut. Actually, I thought I was done, but then I realized that there's some things that I missed. I changed the color of the cheeks to make it a little darker so that it stands out. See that? Now you can see the cheeks. And Then I also changed the eyes for this one so that they have different, all of them have different faces. And now I am done, done, done. If you want to see the final product of this sticker sheet print and cut out, check out my Instagram. I have a picture of it on my feed and it is super cute. It's one of my favorite sticker sheets and I haven't drawn in a long time. Tell me what you think of this style of video. I would love to do more videos like this of like kind of like the behind the scenes of how I draw and what I'm drawing and how I make my stickers. Let me know if you have any questions, write them in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it. I came back onto YouTube after like almost 2 years, so YouTube's algorithm is not being friendly and it's not spreading my video to anybody, even to my subscribers. So anything helps, comments help, sharing the video helps. Anything you can do to help support me, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye.